This is Real Talk with TJ. Today I'm going to be talking about teen self harming and suicide. So I'm waiting in line to drop off a script. Yesterday, I just want to do a quick video. Yesterday, I was in some meetings. I had left the house at 8 in the morning. The meeting started at 9:30. And I was in meetings until 8:30 last night, and I didn't get home until almost 10 o'clock last night. So it was an extremely long day with meetings and everything. So the meeting was about $18 million coming into the state for mental health facilities. And in the statistics in it, the third leading cause of teen death, that's from, I think they said 10 to 24, is suicide. That doesn't include the statistics of those that have tried suicide or those that self-harm. And as a teen, I self-harmed. I've even done it as an adult a few times, but it doesn't do anything for me now. So, but with that being said, I've got some friends that got some kids that do cut, and also I have parents that will call me, because they know I'm with NAMI and stuff, and they'll be like, hey, I've got this going on, what can I do? When you cut, you're trying to release pain. The main things that caused me pain was the feeling of being abandoned and rejected. Also feeling ignored and invisible. And it was a really hard time for me. And in a minute, I'll give you some examples of what I'm talking about. But like, as far as being abandoned and rejected, my dad was in and out of prison. I didn't really know him until I was 19. My mom, I didn't see her hardly when I was a teenager. I lived with my grandmother, so I would do band stuff and this stuff and that stuff, and she wouldn't be there. But yet she would be visiting somebody else that really she shouldn't have been visiting, I felt. And that was the abandonment, If you promise your kids you're going to be there for them on weekends or whatnot, if you're divorced or anything, just be there for them, And as far as the invisible and ignored, my grandmother used to talk about me all the time. She would either be on the phone in the living room or it'd be at church or whatever, and she would think I wouldn't hear it. And it would be like talking about my abuse or her having custody or just all kinds of stuff. I'm going to come back in a minute and tell you more. But the feeling invisible part, when people are talking about you and you can hear it within ear's reach, it hurts. It could be not something positive or negative. It could just be, hey, I'm concerned, or this is what's going on. And they find out, and well, one, they think that they can't trust you, and two, it puts them into a different level of shame and guilt. And that's when you really want to cut, is when you feel shame and guilt, and you don't want to cut, but then you feel guilty for cutting when you cut, and the shame of it, and you don't want to worry nobody, and you try to protect others, you know, and it's just like an ending cycle, like especially when you cut, and you know, it can make you even suicidal at times, and you just kind of got to fight those urges. You know, I talk to kids all the time that cut. You know, some of them are my friends' kids. Some of them are kids that I've met through some of the mental health things that I go to and stuff. And you know, I tell them what works for me or what helps me not to self-harm. And you know, I listen to them with some understanding, and I'll always encourage them to, if they have a parent that understands, even if the parent don't understand, I always ask them to reach out to their parent. But especially if they've got a parent that loves them and that cares for them, you know, I encourage them to go to that parent, you know, because it's hard when you think that your parents aren't going to be there for you, or they might love you less, or they might be mad at you. And, you know, a lot of times that's not the case. Your parents just want you to feel better and be there for you, you know, when you feel like you can't. And it's just it's a really hard situation for everybody that's involved. My grandmother never knew I was cutting. Never. I hid it very well, and luckily I mean, I've got scars still, but they're hidden pretty well. But yeah, I mean, you know, those are the main reasons that I would cut, is just, like I said, rejection and just feeling ignored or invisible, you know? And I try to always, like, whenever I talk to the parents or even my friends about their kids, I try to make sure that the kids aren't around. And a lot of times I don't think that people understand why, but that's why, you know. And it bothers me that so many kids are self-harming. And if you think about it, back in my day, if I was being bullied at school, which that happened a good bit, I would get away from it whenever I was at home. Now with technology, the kids can't get away from it. It's on Facebook, it's on Snapchat, it's on Twitter, it's on TikTok, you name it, it's on it. They can't get away from it, you know, and that makes things even harder for them. And it's sad because it shouldn't be that way, you know. I don't know. I feel bad for kids that cut or feel like they've got to cut, and you know, I try to tell them, like I said, techniques that I do, and you know, I try to sometimes explain to the parents like what might make them cut and stuff. They're not doing it for attention, you know. I know parents all the time, well, he just wants attention or she just wants attention. No, that's a different level of a cry for help. It's just, you can control it. It makes you feel and let you know that you're alive, but it helps release pain. And, you know, different things causes kids different pains. And I can't express this even more with parents. Don't fuss at them. Just be like, what's making you cut? Like, what's causing this pain? Like, are you hearing people talk about you behind your back? Or, you know, do they make you feel invisible? Or, do you think that I've abandoned you? Do you feel neglected? Like, and especially, like, if they've lost friends, you know, don't kick other people out of their life, especially if they've lost friends, you know. Because it hurts. You know, you think that you have somebody that you can trust and that you can talk to, and life is too short, you know. And you know, if they're 15, 16, 17, when they turn 18, they're going to talk to whoever they want to, and there's nothing that a parent can do about it, you know. And you just hope and pray that they're talking to somebody that you can trust, because if it's somebody that you know and trust, you know what's going on. But, you know, if you don't have that kind of support, then they'll just go somewhere else and talk to somebody, you know. Like with me, I talked to the pastor's wife. I talked to my Sunday school teacher. I talked to some of my teachers. They never told my grandmother anything. One of them actually knew that I was self-harming and never told anybody. So, and I'm forever grateful for that. But, and that they were supportive, you know. But yeah, you know, these kids that's out here hurting themselves and stuff, and then the suicide rate, just, it's the third leading cause of death here. I mean, come on. We got to do better for the kids. You know, it does take a village to raise a child, you know, and, you know, I care for kids whether they're my kids or not. I mean, yeah, I might not have as much as in stake as, say, a parent, but I do whenever I invest my time into kids, because I care for them, and, you know, that's our future. That is our future, you know, that's walking around, and if they don't know how to cope or how to handle situations in their cutting or in getting suicidal and stuff, you know, it's scary. It's very scary. But that's why I wanted to do the video, because I don't want to lose any more kids to suicide. And, you know, as far as the cutting and stuff goes, I mean, it is a cry for help. But, you know, as parents, you know, it's the parents' jobs to figure out why. But that's why I cut. And that's why sometimes I handle situations the way that I do. You know, like, I do not talk about the kid in ear's reach. Like, I don't care who it is. I won't do it, because I don't want to hurt that child. That child would go cut themselves, and not on my terms, or not on my dime. I mean, I'm just not even, because I know how it is. I know how it feels. But anyways, if you got a kid that's cutting, I've got resources and stuff. Just reach out, and I can give you some tips and stuff. There's a couple more videos coming up, but I just wanted to do this one today. I hope y'all have a good day, and take it easy.